Now, Velocity co-chair John Allspaw saw overlap between your work, How Complex Systems Fail, and the web operations world. When he talked to you, when he contacted you, did you get that sense that there was overlap there? What was your impression?
John is the one who saw the connections, and I think he's absolutely right. I think there is a connection there. It's particularly hard to tease out all these details, and he knows about this world because he's been in it for a long time. So it made sense to me that there was this connection. Anytime you find a world in which you have high consequences, high tempo operations, time pressure, and lots of complexity, semantic complexity, underlying deep complexity, and people are called upon to manage that, you're going to have these kinds of issues arise. And the general model that we have is one for systems, not for specific instances of systems. So I kind of expected that it would work, and I'm pleased to find that there's as much overlap between what we've been doing and what John is interested in.
So it made sense from the beginning. It wasn't kind of a, I'm not quite sure how that works.
No. It fit right away.
Excellent. Now, when you wrote How Complex Systems Fail, did you have a sense that it would go across disciplines?
We were focused initially on trying to understand problems in healthcare. And in particular, in the early 1990s, there was a spurt of interest in healthcare problems and in healthcare accidents and patient safety. And so it was really written trying to bring what we knew about complex systems forward to healthcare people in a way that they could understand it. But the underlying picture, the underlying message is actually something that's derived from multiple different systems and multiple different views. And so it does have this systemic kind of quality. So it's not terribly surprising to find that there are other groups that can pick it up and run with it. It'll almost always, though, take somebody in that domain, somebody who's familiar with that material and who works in that domain to bring it forward and see all the parallels. It's not something that can be done from the outside.
I see. So there has to be a translator in that space who understands the repercussions of it. Now, this is a clunky question. I couldn't figure out the best way of asking this. And if you don't have an answer, that's fine. We can move on with it. But obviously, failure in the healthcare world is different than failure in the DevOps world, the web operations world, the computer world. What is the right way to address failure, the appropriate way to address failure? Because obviously, you shouldn't have people in this space who are assigning the same level of importance to failure that you would have to assign.
You really think so?
I don't know. If a computer goes down, that's one thing.
If you lose $300 to $400 million, don't you think that'd buy a lot of vaccines?
That's true. Yeah, right.
Look, the fact that it appears to be dramatic because we're in the operating room, we're in the intensive care unit, doesn't change the importance of what it is that people are doing. That's a kind of a consequence of being close to and seeing things in that dramatic fashion. But what's happening here? This is the lifeblood of commerce. This is the core of the economic engine that we're now experiencing. You think that's not important?
So it's okay then to assign deep importance to this.
Yeah, I think the big question will be whether or not we actually are able to conclude that the healthcare importance measures up to the importance of the web ops, not the other way around.
Okay, all right. So last question for you. How does this audience differ from the typical audience that you deliver addresses to?
Well, a lot of stuff that we do is with stuffy academics, and so it's a bit more informal here. But actually, this is a group of people that I feel pretty comfortable with. When you point out these common experiences between being a doc, being a nurse, being a web operator, being a nuclear power plant operator, what you get is that sense that people are actually struggling to try and do a good job in a situation that's sort of hyper complex and multiply conflicted. That's a really tough situation to be in, and people lose sleep over that in all these different worlds. So I feel like this is kind of a very sympathetic and kind of home-based community, and I was pleased to see that people felt like there was some resonance between what I had to say and their own experience.
Great. Well, thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it.
Thank you.